The Levels of Heaven. What the Bible Really Reveals Part 1, Foundations, Language, and the First Heaven. Welcome to the Bible Mysteries Hub. Today, we are exploring a question that has fascinated believers, theologians, and seekers for centuries. Is heaven just one place, or are there multiple levels of heaven described in the Bible? Most people imagine heaven as a single, distant realm above the clouds, a place where God dwells and angels reside. But when we carefully examine Scripture, we discover something far more complex and far more intriguing. The Bible repeatedly speaks of heavens, plural, and that detail changes everything. To understand the levels of heaven, we must begin where all serious biblical study begins, with language, context, and Scripture itself. What does heaven really mean in the Bible? In English, the word heaven feels simple, but in the original biblical languages, it is anything but. In the Old Testament, the Hebrew word translated as heaven is shamaim. In the New Testament, the Greek word is oranos. Both words share a critical feature. They do not refer to only one realm. Instead, they describe different domains above the earth, depending on context. This is why the Bible can speak of birds flying in heaven, stars existing in heaven, and God reigning from heaven, all using the same word. So from the very beginning, Scripture presents heaven not as a single location, but as a layered reality. The first mention of heaven in the Bible. Let's return to the opening line of Scripture. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:1. Notice something subtle but important. The text says, the heavens, not the heaven. This plural form appears before mankind, before the Garden of Eden, and before sin enters the world. This tells us that multiple heavens existed as part of God's original creation. But what are these heavens? To answer that, we begin with the most observable one. The first heaven, the physical sky and cosmos. The first heaven is the realm we can see. It includes the atmosphere where birds fly, the clouds where rain forms, the sun, moon, and stars. Scripture consistently describes this realm as heaven. The birds of the heaven, Genesis 1:26, the stars of heaven, Isaiah 13:10, the heavens declare the glory of God. Psalm 19:1. This is the created, physical heaven, the sky and the universe beyond it. Modern science studies it through astronomy and physics. But the Bible recognized it long before telescopes existed. This first level of heaven reminds us of something profound. Heaven is not only spiritual, it is also structured, ordered, and created. And it reflects God's glory through design. 4. Why this matters, and why confusion exists. Many believers struggle with the idea of multiple heavens because tradition often simplifies the concept. But Scripture does not. The Bible never says heaven is only one place. In fact, it requires multiple heavens for its descriptions to remain consistent. Without this understanding, birds flying in heaven makes no sense. Stars falling from heaven becomes confusing, and Paul's claim of visiting the third heaven would be impossible. So the first heaven is not God's throne. It is not paradise. It is not the final destination of the righteous. It is simply the lowest, physical realm, the visible layer of God's creation. But Scripture makes it clear that this is not where the mystery ends. A transition into the unseen. If the first heaven is the physical realm, then what lies beyond it? Why does the Bible speak of spiritual warfare in heavenly places? Why does the Apostle Paul describe a man being caught up to the third heaven? And why do ancient Jewish writings speak of multiple heavenly realms beyond human sight? These questions lead us into territory that cannot be observed with the eye, but is repeatedly referenced in Scripture. In the next part, we will step beyond the visible universe.